I thought of titling this video something along the lines of make your brain come every day, but I found that to be a little too aggressive. So I'm going to find something on the same level as that, but something sexual in the title because that's what makes people click. When you put anything sexual in the title, I tend to get a handful more clicks. I wonder why. It's almost like there's some credibility behind the phrase sex sells. But nevertheless, this is not clickbait. I'm being very serious. May not be using it in the way that you are expecting, but nevertheless, let's get into it. One of the first books I read outside of college, like after I graduated college and I began reading leisurely and not to just pass a class, was the Eureka Factor. I forgot the author of the book, but the Eureka Factor or the Eureka Moment, one of those two, right? And what this book was talking about was the Eureka Factor. The Eureka Factor is, let's just say, for example, you've been thinking about how to solve a problem, and you're just sitting there thinking about it. I mean, you're thinking so hard about it. You're stressing out about it to the point that you're ignoring your mama, your daddy. You're ignoring your baby mama, your baby daddy. You're ignoring your own kids. You're ignoring your work obligation because this thing is just in your mind so hard and you can't move forward mentally until you figure it out. But one day out of nowhere, boom, oh shit, I know what I need to do. Yo, someone give me a pen and paper, right? That exciting moment was a whole surge of different dopamine, serotonin, a whole bunch of flood of things. The synapses in your brain were all firing off like a Jimmy Neutron moment. You know what I'm saying? You need to fill your life with that. Because even if we're being literal, the orgasm happens in the brain, not in your nether regions. All right? There's signals in your brain that have to be fired off for your body to respond the way that it does. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people think that you can only orgasm through physical means. No. Those little moments like that are orgasms for your brain. And for those of you that actually, crazy idea, exercise your brain, you know how good that moment feels. You studying for a test and you really don't get the process. And let's just say you're doing some calculus shit, some trigonometry. And you're like, yo, how the fuck do you do this? I got the answer in the back of the book, but how do I get there? And you've been trying all these different ways and you've been doing all this type of stuff. And you're just like, man, what if I try this? Oh, snap. Okay. You see? Okay, easy example. You're playing a video game, old school Donkey Kong, when he's throwing the barrels down, you have to jump over him and get to the top. All right, imagine if you didn't know how to jump in the video game. So you're playing the game, you keep getting hit by the barrels. Damn it, how do I get over these barrels? Damn, maybe I should go look up a tutorial. Maybe I should go do some research. I asked a question, let me go see if I can find the answer. And then when you find the answer, you be like, you can jump? Oh, that Eureka moment is just like, yo, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? How can you stay the same person? Like if you had, imagine a year where every single day you had a groundbreaking revelation, right? How can you be the same person if you had that many eye-opening revelation type moments? Okay, let's go back to dating for the younger people. Young men, young women, don't matter. What happens when you sit down after your fourth breakup, you got cheated on every single relationship, right? And you just sit back one day, you're sitting back and actually trying to do some healing, you're journaling, you're thinking, you're meditating, whatever. And you're like, why does this keep happening to me? You go searching for the answers or you meditate, whatever, wherever you go to find your answers, whether it's prayer, affirmations, self-help books, whatever, right? And then you sitting there and you like, oh, it's because I don't respect myself and I tolerate less just so I'm not lonely. Oh, well, when you learn that and then you go apply it, you've thus started moving forward in a completely different trajectory. That's why you need to fill your life with these moments. You can't just be sitting here waiting for everything to come to you. You need to go out there and find it, enrich your mind so you now know how to navigate the rest of this world, the rest of your life. But we have so many people that just want to stay complacent. We want so many people that just want them to get the handout really easy. They don't want to work for nothing. Yes, it's nice when you get those freebies, like when you eating a bunch of pistachios and then like you crack them open, you get into that routine, crack, pop. But every once in a while, there's a pistachio that's out there. Yeah, the little freebie, the little bonuses that life gives you every once in a while are nice, and take them, enjoy them. But it feels so much better when you crack it open and you get into that moment. Same thing with life, Let me give you all a personal example. The whole reason why I'm motivated to make this video, because I'm constantly learning. I've been dropping these little breadcrumbs in my previous videos. I'm learning more and more and more. What I'm learning is that most bank loans are fraudulent. And I'm learning this more and more and more. You have an application. It's just words. It has no monetary value whatsoever. These are the terms to our to the loans that we have at this bank, right? It has no value until you put your signature on it. When you put your signature on it, that basically became the promissory note that initiates this whole transaction. When you are going in for a loan, you sign on the dotted line and you turn in your application, your promissory note. At this moment, there is supposed to be an exchange, this promissory note for the loan. But that's not what happens. An exchange is an exchange, like for using the word to define it, that's not the best way. I'm still learning. But like an exchange is like an exchange of equal value. You gave something that had value for something of equal value. That's the exchange, one-to-one exchange, right? What ends up happening, though, is when you give them the promissory note, they give you a credit and or they give you a check, right? The check has no value. The check is not money. The check only has value when there are assets backing it, right? Now, you might say, well, what do you mean by that? Okay, let's give it to you like this. When you get that promissory note, you're supposed to get really money. You're supposed to get something of equal value, but they give you a check or they increase your checking account. The checking account is nothing but liability for them. You know what I'm saying? It's like they are liable. Like that's the money that they technically owe you, but that's an IOU. So that's the best way to put it. You gave them something real. They gave you an IOU. That's not an exchange. And I'm more than likely they didn't tell you that in your contract, which makes the contract null and void. It's like a lot of these things are invalidated. But once again, I got to learn a little bit more. You go do your own research. You go find your aha moments with these. But nevertheless, it's like they give you these credits. And what they do is they go sell your promissory note for actual cash. So then the check can have value. But you got into the agreement thinking that that check had the assets backing it. It did not. And that is fraudulent in nature. Now, I got to learn a little bit more in regards to that, but still, I'm just like, what? What? All these people struggling to pay loans and stuff when, first of all, they were paid off one-to-one at the inception. Now, maybe you might need to pay a little bit of interest. That's fine. But to pay the entire value of the loan plus interest, that's fraudulent. That's fraudulent. You know, and if you think that the checks, the bank loan checks, if you think what I'm saying is wrong, go read the Federal Reserve Bank's documents where they verbatim, I pulled it up, I have them saved. And it says that damn it, I lost it. I can see the words, but nevertheless, but it says that number one, that they create the money and your checks are funded by the new deposits that they create. That's what it is. You see what I'm saying? Yo, you gotta learn the game. And when you start learning, oh, that's what you was doing. Okay, bet. You know, and every single day you just find something to do to enrich yourself. I don't care if it's law. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care if it's spirituality. I don't care if you're a goddamn dog breeder. Go do some research on new dogs and find a new way to breed them. Imagine a Great Dane-sized Pomeranian. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how much people will pay for something like that. But you have to go figure out how to do it. You know, and you just find it little bit by little bit. See, the problem is, you know, it's kind of like, you know, people don't enjoy the journey. That's a lesson I've been learning recently. You know, it's just like, but it's supposed to be a little step by step. It's progress. People want to skip to the end. When I'm learning this law stuff, and you heard me vent about this, you know, everyone wants a template. Show me how to do it. What am I supposed to say? What do you mean, what are you supposed to say? If you knew the laws that you were if you knew the actions that you were trying to take, you should know what to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what to say, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, it's like that's what's going on here. You need to go out here and learn some new stuff. You know, it's just one of those things, man. You go out here and learn. This is why learning and becoming smart, becoming intelligent, becoming knowledgeable is a very lonely experience. Because you will see so many people that want their brains to just stay on idle. They don't want to challenge themselves. They don't want to find that new gear. Like if we're watching One Piece, they got gear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that man got ultra instinct white hair and stuff. You know, for those of you that watch One Piece and Dragon Ball Z, you know, it's like, this is what we got to do. So before I say something that makes me want to re-record this entire video, I'm going to leave it at that. You know, stop chasing orgasms with your vaginas and your penises. Okay? Chase the mental orgasms of learning something new, something eye-opening, something that doesn't give you 15 minutes of pleasure or even an hour of pleasure, whatever. It's that it gives you pleasure for the rest of your life. Till the next one.